strikes on media buildings here. So press advocates condemn missile strike on media building. Oh, straight missile strikes on media buildings. Like, what do we got, guys? Press advocates condemn Israeli missile strike on media building. What does that mean? What kind of shikadanza are you throwing at me here, guys? Uh-oh. Oh, this gosh. 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 Okay. The AP, Al Jazeera, and other press advocates condemned the Israeli airstrike on Saturday that blew up the building housing them and other media. So basically they took you out. Israel just struck the media building. I mean, fair enough. Israel does some good things once in a while. AP President and CEO Gary Prudent said in a statement that the company was shocked, horrified, and a couple other things by the military strike. They have long known the location of our bureau, and they knew journalists were there, yet they decided to hit it anyways. It's blatant, is what it is. It's very blatant. We received a warning that the building would be hit, and then came the smart bomb. Reporters for the AP and Al Jazeera were forced to evacuate the 12-story building after the owner was warned that it probably was going to be targeted. Israeli forces struck the building an hour later, causing it to completely collapse. The IDF defended the move on Twitter, saying that the militia group Hamas often uses high-rise buildings for intelligence operations, communications, and planning attacks. Israel's Air Force also accused Hamas of using civilian media offices as human shields. Prudent said the AP was seeking information from the Israeli government and is engaged with the United States State Department to try and learn more. He said a dozen journalists and freelancers for the news organization were able to evacuate just in time, it says, just in time. This is an incredibly disturbing development. We narrowly avoided a terrible loss of life. And a couple other things. The world will know less about what's happening in Gaza because of what happened today. Al Jazeera issued a separate statement condemning the bombing in the strongest possible terms, saying it viewed the strike as a clear act to stop journalists from conducting their sacred duty to inform the world and report events on the ground. If it's anything like CNN, good for Israel. Al Jazeera promises to pursue every available route to hold the Israeli government responsible for its actions, the Qatar-funded media company said. Mosef Sag, acting director general of the Al Jazeera Media Network, asserted that the strike was meant to silence the media and hide the untold carnage and suffering of the people of Gaza. Other press advocates condemned the bombing of the building. Joel Simon, executive director of the Committee to Protect Journalists, said the attack raises the specter that the Israeli Defense Forces is deliberately targeting media facilities in order to disrupt coverage of the human suffering in Gaza. We demand that the Israeli government provide a detailed and documented justification for this military attack on a civilian facility, given the possible violation of international humanitarian law, Simon said. Journalists have an obligation and duty to cover unfolding events in Gaza, and it would be illegal for the IDF to use military means to prevent it. Wow, that's a whole deal. Look at this picture that you're looking at here. Look at this picture. I'll go back to that real quick. Look at this picture. Copy that. Go back to the picture. Okay, look at that bad boy. Download that. Download it again. Whoa. So they're just taking out buildings like that, huh? They're just going buck wild. Jeez. Israel hammers Hamas. Gaza towers destroyed. Police across the United States brace for violent summer. Oh, great. Terror alert as virus restrictions ease. Embracing death, end of life. Douglas growing. Oh, great. Cuomo accuses subpoenaed. State inquiry enters critical phase. So the Cuomo accusers now, they were subpoenaed. Cash windfall helps Newsom shake recall election. Cash windfall helps Newsom do some things like juking. Secret shares the hidden ties between private spies and journalists. Oh, what's this about? Secret ta-ta-ta. Get out of here. What is this? The secrets of the sauce. Photograph. Alphabet. Hold on. In photographs, retired MI6 agent was always dressed impeccably in business suits. I can't talk today. It's my birthday. Oh, it's George Clooney in here. Let's get out of here. I don't know what they did. Who's this guy? He's a wild and crazy guy. This is going to be a whole Netflix series here. The wild and crazy guy. DeSantis to change gambling landscape in Florida with sweeping new deal with the Seminoles. It's going to be a whole gambling situation. Caribbean island home to world's first Bitcoin community. Oh, yeah? Maybe you can get down to the Caribbean for the Bitcoin paradise. I'm booking a cruise. I'm going down to the Caribbean. I'm getting involved in this Bitcoin paradise. After I do a little bit more research. Maybe it's sketchy down here. Maybe there's all kinds of like things that are going on. Sketchy stuff happens on islands. Let me tell you. A Caribbean housing developer is creating the world's first Bitcoin community where residents can pay for property, goods, services, and a couple other things. Where the hell is this? Register for free, continue reading. Oh, really? Is that so? Maybe I'll try it later. Can I get something? No? However, the developer said living in the community will also be able to use US dollars if they wish to, as the cryptocurrencies would be weighted against the American currency. Oh, wow. We got the whole thing right here, guys. Okay. The first fully Bitcoin-enabled community will be set in Baquia, an 18 square kilometer Caribbean island that's part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Project is the brainchild of real estate developer Storm Gonzalez or something. Gonzalez, who plans to build 39 luxury villas, shops, clubhouses, buildings with its company One Bakia. Residents will be able to pay for every essential like grocery, restaurant, entertainment, and Bitcoin, as well as buying their property with the cryptocurrency. The properties ranging from £670,000 to £1.6 million can be purchased using cryptocurrency equivalents where prices are locked in to avoid fluctuations in price during the transaction. Speaking to The Express, Mr. Gonzalez said that buying property in cryptocurrencies will become a very normal thing in years to come. Oh gosh. He said, right now we're pioneering an alternative form of financing. We're also pioneering a new way of marketing. There are over $1 trillion in the market cap of Bitcoin alone, and many of these purchasers first bought it when it was $1,000. Okay? Okay, we're going to do things. I'm going to give you something to believe in. This guy is saying, cryptocurrencies could also provide a solution to financial challenges in the Caribbean, where island communities can be cut off from mainstream banking facilities. Oh, wow. Caribbean islands where island communities can be cut off from the banking elite, is what it says. Speaking to Euronews, Mr. Gonzalez said residents of small island nations are finding it increasingly difficult to send and receive money internationally because of de-risking by large international banks, a practice of removing intermediary banking services from smaller community banks. He said this prevents the island-based banks from transacting internationally. If this trend continues, it means small island nations will be essentially cut off from international trade and commerce. For tourist-based economies, this will be devastating. Caribbean countries are adopting blockchain and cryptocurrencies more quickly than elsewhere as a result. Mr. Gonzalez said St. Lucia, the Grenada, Antigua, Barbados, or Barbuda, and St. Kitts, Nevis launched Dcash, world's first digital currency union in the world, which is backed by a central bank. Ooh, let's scan into the database. This guy right here, Dcash. Uh-oh, give me a hemlock. Secret code? What is this? Is there codes in here? Oh. Alright, St. Lucia, give me this. Copy it. World's first central bank. What's central bank? Mr. Gonzalez believes Bikia Properties. Beekeeper suit. Mr. Gonzalez believes that the beekeeper suit, Bikia, like IKEA, but Bikia Properties, will attract those who already invest in cryptocurrencies. He told Euronews, not everyone understands the advantages of cryptocurrency. People are still skeptical. Early crypto investors are not your typical speculators. They believe strongly in the philosophy of decentralization behind Bitcoin blockchain. They are not your typical speculator. However, the developer said those living in the community will also be able to use US dollars if they wish, as the cryptocurrencies would be weighted against the American currency. See, but the banks developed, Satoshi Nakamoto, these investors are very smart about their things that they're doing. And they are. However, I think this is the mark of the banky. What about if they all of a sudden came out with something that they plugged in and they're like, oh, because of this, basically with artificial intelligence and this like chip, we're able to basically track everything on Bitcoin. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we hash it up with a couple of these and a couple of those or something. I don't know. Or, I'm just saying, Satoshi Nakamoto? Did Satoshi Nakamoto? What about if he came out with something you don't know about? Some sort of sniffer, some sort of gradient that would just be inserted, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is a way that we could track all the hashes of Bitcoin in the blockchain. Gotta remain skeptical. I'll leave this linked below. The Bitcoin community on the island. It's like the beach with Leonardo DiCaprio. You ever seen the beach? The beach? Yeah, right here. Yeah. But it's Bitcoin paradise, right? Takes place in the future. See, it's in Bitcoin paradise. It's Bikia. It takes place in Bikia. And he's already been there. He traveled from the future and he went to Bikia. That's Bikia. And then weird stuff starts happening because of the Bitcoins or something, Oh God. Okay. Bikia. What else is going on? PetSmart workers criminally charged after poodle dies during a grooming. Oh God, how did you kill the dog? Read more. A former New Jersey resident heartbroken after dog dies during grooming at PetSmart. Of course it was New Jersey. Pittsburgh. How did a trip to PetSmart become a death sentence for a 12-year-old poodle? The latest highlights, while criminal advocates is growing problem for pet groomers, memories of A.J. Ross of her spunky toy poodle are filled with pure joy. All right, how did the dog die, for God's sakes? They're going to really pull your chain on this one. CBS sports reporter and former New Jersey resident still can't fathom how a quick trip to PetSmart just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for a nail clipping, ended in Kobe's death. Lifeless on this grooming table, Ross said, I collapsed outside the store on the curb. I'm shaking. Please wake up. Please wake up. She raced to him, and took him to an animal hospital, but he was dead on arrival. The store eventually let you look at their surveillance video, and what did you see in the video? They tied him on the grooming table with two leashes, two contrasting leashes. The leashes get tighter as he wiggles around, struggling. PetSmart says it launched an internal investigation and found in unintended failure to adhere to pet safety process. 4 workers were fired and criminally charged. The company also said the necromancy done by the company's own pet hospital found no definitive cause of death, but a separate medical examination backs up Ross's belief that Kobe was strangled to death. They killed the damn dog. PetSmart, they kill your dogs, okay? How could we have an industry go unregulated? Valerie something or other, Venaniti Hustle, what is this? Venaneri Hustle of New Jersey. She's hustling over there in Jersey. She proposed a similar bill in Jersey in 2014, passed the Assembly in 2018, but 3 years later, it hasn't made it through the Senate. What are you guys in the Senate like to kick dogs over there? So I think the pushback is about the profits. I think all of us that have pets would say pets over profits. They don't have voices, you know? Praying other pets will have a voice, though a compassionate, caring Kobe will never have that day because pets dog. That's true. That's a true story on a Sunday. China lands on Mars. Give me a break. China lands on Mars in major advance for space ambitions. Did you guys know this? Oh yeah, China's up there now. Give me a break. This is all CGI. I mean, let's not lie. This is CGI from like the best of them. Oh yeah, the whole thing is going to be CGI. Possibly, I don't know. Do you think they're up there? I mean, come on, I could have told you this. They overtake us and and the whole thing. Beijing, China landed a spacecraft on Mars for the first time Saturday, a technically challenged feat, more difficult than a moon landing, and the latest step forward for its ambitious goals in space. Plans call for a rover to stay in the lander for a few days of diagnostic tests before rolling a ramp to explore the area of Mars known as Utopia Planeta. It will join the American rover that arrived at the Red Planet in February, and they will take the worlds and the galaxies over. China and America. China first Mars landing follows the launch last month of the main section of what will be a permanent space station on a mission that brought back rocks from the moon. Oh, good Lord. China has set a footprint on Mars for the first time, and they're doing the whole 9 yards over at Xinhua. We're here. We're badass. We're China. The United States has 9 successful landings on Mars since 1976. Soviet Union landed on the planet in 1971, but the mission failed after the craft stopped transmitting information soon after touchdown. Wait, hold on. But the mission failed after the craft stopped transmitting information soon after touchdown. So basically what you're saying is the Russians are on Mars. In 1971, the Russians went to the moon and cut their comms off. The only thing we know is that they stopped transmitting. We don't know anything. You think a Russian's going to die on Mars? Hell no. They touched down. Russians on Mars. Russians on Mars. Red flags. We got Russians on Mars. Wow, that's the story. A rover and a tiny helicopter from the American landing in February are currently exploring Mars. NASA expects the rover to collect its first sample in July for a return to Earth in a decade. China has landed on the moon before, but landing on Mars is a much more difficult undertaking. Spacecraft use shields for protection from the searing heat of entering the Martian atmosphere. They use retro rockets and parachutes and all kinds of stuff, guys. Retro rockets are required for a moon landing. Parachutes alone are sufficient for returning to do a couple things. What? For returning to Earth. Xinhua said the entry capsule entered the Mars atmosphere at an altitude of 125 kilometers, initiating what is called the riskiest phase of the whole mission. All right, so the craft hovered about 330 feet. No, just that's random. It's a random number. It's not 33. Let me see here. We got 9, 14, 15, 16, 19, 18. So, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, 9, 9, 11. Bam. 9, 5, 9. Q. Jeez. Humanity's The Taiwan 1 spacecraft has been orbiting since February. 6.5 month journey from Earth. Rover's doing things for the Chinese god of fire, Zurog. Or the rover's named after the fire god Zurog. Expected to be deployed for 90 days. Search for evidence of life. Search for Russians. About the size of a small car, it has ground-penetrating radar, a laser, sensors to gauge the atmosphere, a magnetic sphere. China's space program has proceeded in a more cautious manner than the United States. Soviet Union during the height of their space race. The launch of the main module for China's space station in April is the first of 11 planned missions to build and provision the station to send up 3-person crews by the end of next year. While the module was successfully launched in uncontrolled return to Earth, rocket drew the international criticism, including from NASA. Bill Nelson, China has said it wants to land people on the moon and possibly build a scientific base there. No timeline has been released for these projects. A space plane is also reportedly under development. It's flying. The space plane is flying. That's a go. Roger that. That's going. Space plane is up and at 'em. All right, I'm out of here. It's like 2 in the morning.